Maybe it's because I watched the first and second movie again last night, but I couldn't stop thinking about this. I think I even had a dream about it. So here we are today. I've decided to make a tier list, sorting our characters into the four houses of Hogwarts.
I'm dying.
No, the store is hard as hell!
First, we have Gryffindor. Now, those in this house are usually pretty passionate. They're very courageous, they have a strong sense of morality, they're playful, they're stubborn, they don't really take things too seriously, but you can bet when they set foot on the battlefield, someone's gonna go flying in the air. Then, we have Hufflepuff. Those in this house tend to be hardworking and loyal and selfless. They're known for being kind, but it's really just that they're good-hearted folks and pretty accepting of all. Next, we have Slytherin. In this snake of a house, those inside of it are usually very ambitious. They come across as ruthless sometimes, very selective in who they hang around or the things that they want to do, bold in their actions, and actually pretty charming. Lastly, we have Ravenclaw. They kind of get a rap for being book nerds, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. They are creative, they love learning, pretty intelligent, and they're generally pretty independent. Now, let's start with the Trailblazer. They don't take things too seriously, and they're kind of a troll, but they have a strong trust in their friends, and though they don't ask to get thrown into all the situations that come their way, they see the battles that come with it through to the end, and lead a lot of change. March is definitely a Gryffindor with our Trailblazer here. Our inseparable buddy we can't stop getting into shenanigans with, who would step forward to defend others in an instant, and knock down evil. And I think she knows her limits, but she also isn't the sort to back down. Dan Hong? This man is a Ravenclaw. I know he'd be in the library sorting through the books, and he'd look out the window to see March and the Trailblazer like flying brooms into the school walls. He's got such a passion for archiving and collecting data, and takes to documenting many of the things around him. I really don't think it'd be that unusual, like you'd be looking for him and he's in the forest in some trees sketching a mushroom or something. Welt is a total Gryffindor. He just wants smoke all the time. You can actually see how visibly upset he gets when he can't smoke someone. He's unafraid of a lot of things. You just know he'd be running headfirst into trouble as a student, confronting threats left and right. As for Himeko, I think her counterpart in Honkai Star Rail is more of a Hufflepuff than anything else. She's very open-minded and committed to her own. Kafka? Slytherin. She knows how to look at the bigger picture and will do whatever it takes to get her there. For the greater purpose, she'll step away from her own needs as well, which is kinda sad, but it also makes her character so great. Blade. Hufflepuff. Okay, hear me out. Before he and Don Thang did their thing, I feel like he was just a nice guy. Hardworking, loyal, had a strong sense of justice, he loved his friends, and now I'm sad. Silverwolf would be a Ravenclaw alongside Herta, and she'd totally be trying to learn all of Herta's secrets while Herta entertains it by playing games with Silverwolf's own games and driving her insane. Firefly, on paper, her characteristics are aligned with Slytherin the most, but I think when it comes down to it, she wouldn't hesitate to act on her own moral compass rather than doing what others expect of her, so she's a pretty strong Gryffindor in my opinion. Arlen, Hufflepuff. Asta, Ravenclaw. Ron May scares me, and I kind of want to put her in Slytherin, but she's undoubtedly a Ravenclaw too. Her and Herta actually have their own personal club, and occasionally they let Asta and Arlen inside of it, but they keep Dr. Ratio outside the door. He'd be outside the door, all tight-lipped, book in hand, probably screaming in his head,
I'm a Ravenclaw too!
and then Skrillum walks up and knocks and they just let him in. Adventurine and Topaz would be Slytherins battling it out for the top of their class, and Jade would be in the middle of them like Draco Malfoy. And Black Swan would be the Ravenclaw, all up in everyone's business, suddenly appearing next to them in class, or above them in bed in the middle of the night like some sort of demonic apparition. Robin is such a Hufflepuff. Sunday would be placed in Slytherin for his sheer ambitions, but after like a 4th or 5th book of life-changing adventure, all his buddies in class would wonder who the new Hufflepuff beside them is.
What is that?
Boothill, Gryffindor. Rappa, Gryffindor. Gallagher, Gryffindor too. I feel like no one would ever mess with Gryffindor knowing Gallagher and Welt Youth are there. You so much as try to bring harm to the Gryffindor house, and the next thing you know, you're clapped. Honestly, people might just be scared of Gryffindor in this timeline with Rappa and Boothill in the class. Mikhail! A lovely Hufflepuff with the heart of a lion. I feel like Natasha and Luca are ones too. Man, Luca and Natasha would be the best Hufflepuff friends you have. Looking out for you, playing games with you, The big brother and big sister you can depend on. I mean, your soul just gets healed from being around them. This might be odd, but I think Gepard would also be a Hufflepuff. Beyond loyalty and justice, he's not the sort to act rashly, but take into consideration all elements of a situation before making a move. We've seen his commitment to duty over personal feelings before, but always for the well-being of others, with little regard for himself. Actually, I can see him and Grania as prefects leading the house, both heavily admired, with a lot of fellow classmates who trust and follow in their choices and advice. Zila? Hook? Gryffindors. Serval has the personality of what you think Gryffindor would be like, but I can see the hat putting her in Ravenclaw for her brilliance and potential in a multitude of academic fields. Lynx, too. Although she would be the greatest friend to you and committed to your interests like a Hufflepuff, I'm sure the hat would also put her in Ravenclaw. Pela? Uncontested Ravenclaw. Clara? Gryffindor. She'll always look out for the little people, though she's little herself. I know if she was around in the time of Draco, she'd give him a One Piece, like Hermione in movie 3. Aside from that, she's also determined and very brave. Sampo? Absolute Slytherin. The one you're always wary of, but also kind of love, but really don't understand, and maybe he thinks very highly of you, and sometimes you don't think very highly of him, but you can tell he's got a lot of plans, and is always plotting something mysterious behind the scenes. So, maybe he's not really up to no good, he just comes across that way? Yo, Imbibitor Lunae got the Donfang in him. Slytherin. Jing Yuan, our beloved, the unexpected Hufflepuff, with the wisdom of a Ravenclaw, greatness of a Slytherin, and strength of a Gryffindor. If the school elected one 4-class president, it'd be him. Trust. He goes up to be the headmaster, y'all. I don't make the rules. Jing Liu has such a strong sense of justice to the cause of others around her that I can't help but think she'd be in Gryffindor. Fushuan, Ravenclaw. And she'd also likely become a professor in the future alongside Luocha. This man would be in Slytherin, giving well PTSD encounters and on 24/7 watch by Jing Yuan. Yan Qing would also be in Slytherin and be disappointed by it until he discovers he's one of the most powerful students in the past 300 centuries to show up at that school, destined to become great. Yoon Lee, a Gryffindor, and she'd rub it in Yan Qing's face until he gets one up on her, like in her personal quest. Shu Shang, my favorite Hufflepuff! She's honestly so hardworking and genuine and down to earth, I can't think of a better house. Gwenithan, a Gryffindor beside her, and they're totally best friends, dragging Gryffindor Hua Hua along with them. That's right, I said Gryffindor. It's kind of a Neville situation. I believe Bailu would get sorted into Hufflepuff. The values of her past self aside, she herself always seems to approach things fairly, without judgment. Look, Lingsha's got that Slytherin energy, and so does Moitza. And I get the sense that Jiaochu would be a very uncanny Ravenclaw. Sure? The hat would try to put Fei Xiao in Slytherin first, because of her strong greatness in her blood and ambition, but ultimately decide on Gryffindor. Ting Yun comes across as a Hufflepuff in the way she views the world around her, and the people she cares about. Qing Chue is a definite Gryffindor, and she spends the nights roping fellow Gryffindors into playing games with her instead of doing classwork. They all fail. Hanya sits comfortably in Ravenclaw, and her sister Shui, although I thought for a long time or whether she'd be Gryffindor or Slytherin, definitely has stronger beliefs aligned with that of a Gryffindor. Yukong, based on beliefs, would be a Gryffindor as well. Now, onto some miscellaneous others. Sparkle is nothing but a Slytherin. Sometimes she disguises herself and roams inside the Gryffindor dorm for the fun of it. Puts bombs under their pillows. Acheron reminds me of Kafka in a way that she'll set aside her own sense of self to achieve what must be done. Respectable, a clear black and white system of making decisions, and highly talented. So I think I'd put her with Slytherin. Argenti, a Gryffindor, and a prefect, and he drives Boot Hill insane. Likewise, Boot Hill also sends him on a bender. Aglia, Ravenclaw. Simon, Slytherin. JK, he's a Gryffindor. Anaxa, Ravenclaw. Tribby, Ravenclaw. Maide, Gryffindor. I feel like these guys need little explanation, but I would totally die for Maide. Anyhow, that's it. That's the finished list. Agree or disagree? Feel free to share your thoughts below, and thanks for watching.